Welcome to Fathers Unfiltered. This is a podcast that allows separated dads to tell their story. We've got today's guest here. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us your name, age, how many kids you got, and what their ages are, what you do for a living.
Yeah, so I'm Simon. I'm 42. I don't like saying my age anymore. It was mad. I stopped wanting to know about it at 40 for some reason. So I've got two kids, Jack and Clark. Jack is 10, Clark's 8.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm mainly a graffiti artist. I teach, and I'm like a lived experience consultant.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. So just before we get into it, sort of explain how the format works. So we're going to discuss your previous relationship with the children's mum. Start at the beginning, touch on the main points, such as when you had kids, if you moved in together, if there was any key events, and then move on to the point of separation, and then how your relationship is now with your children and the mother of your kids.
Yeah. All right.
No worries. I think the first two questions I'd probably want to throw in there is how long have you been with your ex, or how long were you together?
Right. So, I mean, it was a bit of a mad thing, actually. So we met, and within 12 weeks we were married. I felt like we'd had that fairy tale romance, and I literally whisked her away to Scarborough. We ran away from all the family, just took mum and dad, got married.
Just 12 weeks?
Yeah. I'd say you want to know someone a bit longer before you jump into it, right? Because a fairy tale romance isn't a real thing. I think that's why they call it a fairy tale.
Well, yeah.
But I hadn't clicked onto that at the beginning. So I know we're much better now. We're about 12 years since we got married. I was only with her for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's been much longer separate than we was together now. And I'd say there was a couple of things that started going wrong. So after the first baby, she definitely got depressed with that.
Yeah.
And I didn't handle that well at all. Rather than support her, I fell off the wagon and started smoking weed again.
Okay.
She hated that. She told me I got to clean that up. So I did. I cleaned up. But I said, well, you try and get some help with your baby blues. And she was in total denial about it. To the point where one day my mum was at our house, upstairs in the kids' bedroom with my kid's mum. Before I knew it, my mum was screaming because my wife had tried pushing her downstairs. And it was a proper like wake-up moment of seeing your partner try and murder your mum.
Yeah.
It's not great. And then
that is pretty deep.
when we tried to talk about it, she pushed me through a mirror. And then things got progressively worse after that.
Yeah.
So that was, I tried to put it down to, because I've had depression before and I've acted out. And I tried to stay and help, and she was having none of it. And it was pretty much, she kicked me out and she said, if we get divorced within 6 weeks, I'll pay for it all.
Okay.
So at that point, I was like a broken person. I didn't want the fight anymore. I just said, if you're paying for it, do it.
I mean, that's a pretty heavy introduction.
Yeah. But the reason why I was a broken person was she used to lock us in the house when she went to work and take the key with her. And then one time, I'd had enough of it and I started trying to kick the door out from the inside as she's walking down the road. And I'm like, come back and let me out.
Yeah. Well, let's we can come back to this in a little while. Let's take it to a slightly lighter note.
Yeah.
Take us back to the day when you first met. Can you remember it?
So when we first met, we'd been talking for a few weeks on Plenty of Fish. And she's from Leeds, and I thought, well, do you know what? I like Leeds. So I shot over there, and we went out for a restaurant meal. And I'm one of these who will always try something new. So she loved how I tried something I'd never had before. I got celeriac and something else. Weren't the best thing I've ever had, but I tried something new because that's what I do. I like, if I've not had it before, I'm having a go. And I think that was one of the things she fell in love with me for, because I am adventurous.
Yeah.
And she was dead creative. She was telling me about the things she'd done at university, like she was making jewellery and stuff like that. And it all like, I'm a creative person, so that really got me. More than showing her legs, do you know what I mean?
I get you. So what were the first... I know you said you were only together for 12 weeks.
Yeah, but we moved in, we got an house.
You moved in as well?
We moved in within the first 6 weeks.
Wow.
She moved from Leeds to Oldham. And that's how much I thought she was in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, within 6 months, she was pregnant, and I'm like, let's get... It weren't even that. It was within the 12 weeks. Like, I got her pregnant, and I said, let's go get married. Let's do it properly.
Okay.
And it felt great. It felt like my life was set up.
I can imagine. Yeah, if you're going to get married to somebody in 12 weeks and you've moved in within 6... everything's moving...
Yeah, it felt natural, though, and I'd never been in a relationship for longer than about 18 weeks.
Okay.
Right, and by 3 weeks, I normally knew something was going wrong. So within 6 weeks, I thought this was brilliant, because it was the longest it had ever been good for me. Now, I know now it's because I'm neurodivergent, I'm autistic, and I've got ADHD, so...
You couldn't pick up any of the signs or anything?
No, unless people say to me, Simon, things are going wrong. I don't know.
I get you.
If they're trying to speak to me between the lines, I don't hear none of it.
I get you. So you've moved in. Was it a place just the two of yous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that when you first moved in? Was that the first place on your own?
No, it wasn't the first place on my own, but it was the first place where I'd moved in with somebody rather than it being my
Family.
place.
Okay.
Like, when I bought my first house in Clarksfield, I had my best friend as a lodger.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess it was the first time I'd actually, relationship moving in.
How was it when you were living together?
It
Did
was
go well?
fantastic.
Loved it? Yeah?
Yeah, it was brilliant. We both had good jobs at the time, so we had a lovely house.
Yeah.
Oh, and we had an attic, what I called the tree house. Every weekend we'd go up into the tree house and we'd pretty much have a holiday away from the rest of the house. We'd phone Mr. Jam up, he'd be giving us props on the Radio 1 and everything like that. And we loved it. And every week we'd be like Simon and Charlie Bear in the treehouse. And Mr. Jam loved that we was always doing this thing. So we'd always say every weekend, oh, they're back. And it felt like a vibe. Okay. And I was taking her out to all my graffiti commissions. So I get to a lot of music festivals and that. We was meeting people that she'd always wanted to meet. It was brilliant.
So everything's gone well. You've moved in together. You know, it's the best relationship you've had so far.
And for about 18 months, it seems all right, but it's slowly going downhill without...
For 18 months, okay.
So by the time we'd had our second child, we was pretty much ruined.
What was it like? I don't know if it'd be any different for yourself, where you mentioned that you're neurodivergent.
Yeah.
On the lead up, whilst you were pregnant, before the child was born, did you feel any different? Or did it feel normal to you?
You know, it all felt normal.
Okay.
It felt exciting.
Okay. That's good.
It was great. It was like I'd had two ambitions in life, to be a cartoonist and to have kids. And the cartoonist thing was squashed when I was at Saddleworth. Like, you'll never be a cartoonist, you're from Oldham. I pretty much stopped going to school and learnt graffiti from 12. So I was set up with my creativity, and then there was a woman called Joan at Oldham Reference Library who'd let me in when school wouldn't. And she taught me, she got me past my GCSEs. So I passed 9 GCSEs without going to school. But that was Joan at Oldham Reference Library, saw something in me. So that's why I'm trying to pay Oldham back as a town now, when I talk so much about people who are down at the bottom. It's like, come on, give them a chance, because I was down at the bottom once.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That's why I champion people who are on their arse, because I've been there. And now I'm standing on my feet, so I know it's always possible to regain or even be stronger than before.
That's good. What was it like when you had your first child, your first experience of being a dad?
Yes, so looking forward to it. We have the baby boom anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. This is a human life. And I'm quite a crazy individual. It's like I don't fit in any boxes, and all of a sudden I've got to be a parent, which is like totally, you've just been put in a box, right? And for some reason I was looking forward to it all the time, and then it happened, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not Simon anymore. I'm literally just dad. And I think it was because I'd given my job up and my wife had a better job. I was a stay-at-home dad. But it was getting hard, and I saw a therapist at Oldham Hospital, and they put me on to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said, you've done all this to yourself by taking on a matriarchal role. You shouldn't be looking after your kids. Your wife should be. And that was the last time I spoke to a psychiatrist.
Okay.
Because that weren't what I wanted to hear. What I wanted to hear was, I've chose this life. How do I deal with it?
Yeah, you wanted support.
Yeah, I don't want to hear this bigoted, nah, you're a man. Be a man. It's like, no, I'm a modern man, but I can be everything my kids require me to be. And that is a mum when she's not there.
So how did the day-to-day go? Did you enjoy being a dad?
So the first couple of months, like I say, my mum and dad helped me loads because I was panicking. I could either look after the baby or I could look after the house. And my wife wanted everything sorted for when she got home. She wanted tea on table. She wanted the clothes all sorted, ironed, put away. So I was either looking after the kid and I'd have a messy house, or I was giving the kid to my parents, which felt shit, and looking after all the housework and keeping my wife happy.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think what happened was OCD became a massive thing with her. And, it was super painful. Like, every night she'd come home and she'd lay into me. You've not done this, you've not done that. This is shit. And I go, look, the kid's alive and happy. The kid's fed. The kid's happy. That didn't matter to her. Because it was all about how the house looked.
Yeah. So this was before the 18-month mark?
This was before the second child. And then it was an accident, the second child, but a happy accident.
Yeah.
But it definitely weren't planned because of the way she was behaving and everything. It was scary. And I started behaving a bit odd as well because of all of it. I was lashing out. So some guy road raged me, and I literally got out of the car and leathered him because I felt like he was attacking me and my kid. But it was because I was always on edge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was literally in trauma. Somebody say one wrong thing to me, and I felt, wow, I've got to defend my family, and I'd just lay into him. I did it 3 times, and luckily, because someone had always come up to attack me first and I was just fighting back, the police never charged me for it. But, I mean, why didn't they charge me really? Because I still hurt people.
Yeah.
Shameful. I'd gone past that point. At the age of 18, I was like, I'm not hitting guys anymore. I've seen 2 of my friends die, one punch hit the ground, and it's their head hit the ground that's killed them. So I'm not into violence. And all of a sudden I was going around leathering people. It was hanging. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror.
So that pursued up until you had your second child.
We had the second child.
Was that any different in the lead up to the second child?
Like I say, it was progressively getting worse and worse, and we weren't really dealing with it. She was denying it was happening, so I was falling off the wagon, smoking for a bit, coming off it, trying to be clean for like 12, 16 weeks, and then cracking under the pressure again. And I thought I was the shithead for going back onto drugs.
Yeah.
Now I realise I was just coping. Like, since we got divorced, I've been clean ever since.
That's good.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's like, I realise that I've got that personality that I need crutches. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry.
But I need to rely on things. And if I've got love, like my kids, wow, they're holding me up stronger than drugs ever did. But I'm a guy who needs crutches.
So, where you mentioned about this proceeded for or continued 18 months, whereabouts was it that the relationship, I guess, fully broke down? What was...
It was when I tried to break out of the house.
Okay.
And she came back and she hit me with my keyboard, musical keyboard, full like baseball swing gear. I was proper bleeding. She phoned the police and the police came and dragged me out and I was banned from home for 48 hours.
So from that point you were...
That was it.
You were done as a couple?
Like, I didn't know we was done as a couple, but she did.
Okay.
And then one time, after this, I went to take the kids back. And she changed the locks without telling me. But then, as she got the kids in the house, she goes, I've changed the locks. You're never coming in this house again. I goes, what do you mean? My kids are in this house. What if something happens? And you know what she did? She started shouting, kidnap, he's kidnapping the kids.
Seriously?
My neighbour comes running round. My wife threw herself on the floor and goes, he's just hit me. And my Jack was like 2.5 then, and he went, he didn't.
That's mental.
And that was it.
You're right.
It was that time when I never wanted my son to see his mum like that. And he was literally screaming in protection of me. And it was the first week he went to school. Like 2.5, like a nursery reception time. Guy left. So every day he went to school, he thought, I'm never seeing Dad again. And literally I'd get calls from the school at 11:30. Like, he's in tears, he don't think he's ever going to see you again. So, it was this thing seeing like, we was ruining our kids. And I'm like, we're not doing this. I am not. It's not always best to stay. So that was when it was like a finalisation of, I realised we was damaging our kids by being together. And I were having none of that.
Yeah. Okay, you got tissue.
Thanks, man. But this has been a thing ever since. Like, I've been so emotional ever since I've still never quite got to that point where I can hold things in now.
Yeah.
I've never been able to get back to that stiff upper lip ever since. So I feel like I'm totally strong until a moment when I'm not, and I absolutely crumble. And I'll take a few deep breaths and I get back again. But I literally feel like I've lost that stiff upper lip. It was robbed from me. Again, one of the worst things that happened was when I found out I was neurodivergent, and the kids noticed, well, the school noticed my kids were neurodivergent too, and asked if we could get CAMS involved. CAMS came in, they give Jack like a full assessment, says, yeah, he needs our help. And I was ill for the day of the final telling us everything. And she's gone, don't label my kids. I don't want them labelled like their dad is labelled. And stopped all help. So now I'm going through all my autism help so that when my kids have struggles, I can just help them.
That's good.
They never need to know there's anything wrong with them if that's how she's going to be. But I need all the tools for when something goes wrong.
Yeah, no, that's good. With from the point that you split up, how was it? How was your relationship with your ex?
I needed my dad to sort of be invigilator for 12 months. I wouldn't drop the kids off or pick the kids up, okay, because I never wanted my kids to see her screaming at me, which happened regularly. But with my dad, she was always fine. With my mum, we kept her totally away from her. Within about 3 years that we're talking again, and it was like, my mum can't forget it, but she's forgive. And my ex has sort of pretended it never happened. So we're now at a point where we all work as a great team, because you've got to be a great team for your kids. Otherwise, you're not doing your kids well.
Yeah, that's
Do you know what I mean?
That's really what needs to be the focus.
Your kids have to be the focus, because you wanted to be a team at one point. Now, just because you've decided, no, the kids are sort of deciding for you. You've got to be a team still. And yeah, you might not be best friends at all, but you've got to work as a team, haven't you?
So it's still pretty rough, I guess, using your parents as the go-between, which is a good use of them, I guess, if it's still a lot of hostility.
And what I realised is, I've seen a lot of my friends, their relationship broke down and the kids was kept from them, almost like a bargaining tool. So what I did was, I carried on being indispensable and doing the full-time care. I wanted to prove like I was worthy of being in them kids' lives, because I knew I was, but I wanted her to realise it too. So I just kept carrying on being totally reliable, indispensable. She'd phone me and I'd drop everything because it's my kids. So I swallowed all my hate for her and I just got on with being a good dad. And do you know what? It really helped heal our relationship.
Yeah.
Within 3 years, we was at a parents' evening. She goes, Simon, I don't even know why we got divorced. And I nearly screamed at her because you tried to kill my fucking mum. But you can't be doing that at parents' evening, right? So I'm like, no, I don't know either. And so now we're quite a good team. We talk to each other regularly. If the kids have something that they're really struggling with, yeah, we form a plan together of care. It's lovely. But I tell you what, it took a lot of me bending over backwards for that to happen. And I was so willing to do it because a man's ego can really ruin his relationships with his children, I think. So I swallowed my ego.
Yeah.
And it did wonders for my relationship with my kids, because it's like I'm both parents almost, and they go to the mums. It sort of is, they call it like the school break, because she lives closer to the school.
Okay.
And when they want fun and relaxation, it's me. So I'm the main parent and the fun parent. I've got both. Oh, if I manage that, I'll feel very lucky.
It's good that you're able to see him so much. I think what you said before is you get to see him something like, is it 5 times a week?
Every day after school, I pick him up, and 2 or 3 nights a week he's sleeping with me at my house. And I'll tell you what we've even done is we've got a triple sleeper.
Yeah.
So I share one bedroom with my 2 boys. I'm on the bottom bunk. Clark's topping and tailing with me on bottom, and Jack's on top because he's the 10-year-old, so he's got to feel the big man. And we're so connected. We game together, we Roblox together. I hate Roblox, but I'll play it for my kids because I love my kids, right?
I don't mind it. It's all right.
Oh, it's the gameplay changes between each game, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like games physics where I can rely on.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do everything together. We make music together. We make art together. They come out graffitiing with me. Everything's great. When I go and do gigs, they've been my backing dancers. It's been fantastic.
That's really good. So from, I guess, the 3 years, I'm guessing, is it all pretty much just the same during this period? You're having them a pretty similar amount of time.
Yeah.
And then I guess your relationship is slowly starting to heal where you're able to start communicating a bit better.
Yeah. And I'd say what mainly happened when I got my youngest into full-time school, and I had some free time and I got back into working as well. And she always thought I was a dosser without a job, but I chose that to let her have the main job.
Yeah.
She forgot I was a bloody talented artist before I met her, and I'd literally stopped my career dead. I was getting invited all over the world to paint, and I shut it down for my kids. Again, she thought I was a dosser with no job. But mate, I'm back out doing my graffiti now. I'm back in like the top few thousand in the world. I feel it's a good feeling. Do you know what I mean?
That's good.
So I found that you can be Dad and Simon, and they're both together. Yeah. But that thing I said at the beginning, I literally felt I'd lost being Simon at the beginning.
I know that feeling.
It's mad.
I remember when I first separated. I think I was on site. I was on a job. My friend rang me, and I think I just broke down over the phone. And he was like, "What's up?" He says, "I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am anymore."
It's mad. Like you're looking in a mirror at a stranger, innit?
Yeah.
And like literally with my autism, it was like literally looking at a stranger, and I didn't know the guy.
Yeah.
And that was shocking.
So how long has it been since like the 3-year period that you now...
Yeah, so...
You said it was about...
Jack's 10 now.
So it's a good, was it?
7 years.
Wow. And has your relationship with your ex continued to get better?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, to the point of a couple of times I've been tempted on inviting on holiday with me and kids.
Wow.
And I'd get her a separate room or a separate caravan depending on where we're going, because it'd also be a thing of one of the kids could go in with her for a night, one with me, we could swap. Like, I've never had just one kid on their own, apart from when I had Jack on his own, and he was a baby. And then, yeah, the other week, for the first time ever, I had Clark on his own on a Saturday. And it was good, because Jack's scared of horror films and Clark isn't. So I got Killer Clowns from Outer Space on. I know it's only a family horror, but it's like he's only 8, so I can't show him. He's begging to watch Pennywise, and all that. And I'm like, no, mate, we'll start on the family ones first. So Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and he loved it.
No, my son doesn't like scary films. Well, he wants to watch scary films, but it's like, you will not like them. He wants to watch that Freddy, Five Nights at Freddy's. It looks pretty scary.
Yeah, so I watched that on the proviso that if it was going to be safe, I was going to let my kids watch it. No, the kids aren't watching that. Now, it's low budget B movie, but it leaves so much to the imagination, and my kids have got such a good imagination. They're going to make it more gruesome than the film was.
Yes.
But to be honest, I watched that and I found it quite entertaining in a weird B movie way. It weren't a good movie, but it was a movie.
No, it's really good.
But
So, have you actually been away with your ex?
I haven't.
Oh, okay, I thought you actually said. I was like, wow,
because like, I'll take just my kids, and I'll take my kids and my parents. And to be honestly, now it's like the last holiday was just my kids, and that was easier than when I took my parents with me. We just had a vibe. Like me and the kids, we all behave like children when we're together. Whereas when I'm with my mum and dad, they want me to behave like an adult because I'm their carer. It's like, wow, adulting's only good for a certain amount of time for me.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe you've got to carry on playing out, and that's why I do my graffiti. So I don't look like a kid, but I'm still playing out. I think men need to play out all their lives.
Yeah, I remember doing that back in the 90s. Pretty much didn't even live indoors.
Yeah, and that was a thing, like, you'd come home from school, you'd get a change and go straight back out in it. And my kids don't have that opportunity now because their mum literally thinks the world is full of pedos. But I'll say to her, I think it's got as many pedos as when we were kids. It's just now we talk about it more. Like, I can remember dodgy guys in Clarksfield with Packer Max. And, like, literally, he'd come outside Clarksfield School and the head teacher would be like, now, none of you look over there.
Yeah.
Like, but literally every now and then we'd have a pedo at the school gates. So it's not like they've only just been invented now, but we talk about it so much more, it's scarier.
Yeah, the only difference now is you know where they all live.
Innit? So, if anything, we're safer now. Innit?
In some ways, I guess. Yeah.
But no one's letting any of the kids out because we watch so many programmes about murder and death, we believe everybody's a criminal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've not actually mentioned the fact that we went to school together, but back then, I think I was around 4, 5 at the latest. I used to walk to school.
Yeah. So I remember being 7 and letting myself in. I was a latchkey kid at 7.
Yeah, I was one.
Now, the only thing that changed was I nearly burnt our house down. So because matches to a boy is a brilliant thing. And then you're at home and you're like, oh, I need to throw that in the bin. But I had a plastic bin. So I'm running through into the front room, throwing water at this plastic bin and just spreading the plastic melt around everywhere. Yeah, babysitters from then on.
No, I sort of had a similar thing with a candle at my house.
Right.
That mum had to quickly action. But yeah.
I think just boys love fire. I think a lot of girls do too. Fire's a thing, isn't it?
So, I mean, we pretty much there. We've kind of gone through it pretty quick. I mean, you mentioned that your relationship itself was only relatively short, and where we went on to say now you've never had the period where you've been kept away from the kids. You've had them for,
yeah,
you'd say half, if not majority of the time at some times, which is fantastic.
I do feel lucky as well. Like, I've got to say, I've seen some of my friends not be able to have any contact with the kids. Now, some of them, I've got to say it was their fault because they wouldn't stop session.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple of my mates step up and get the kids. Yeah, you step up and you say, yeah, I'm going to be a dad, and you get the opportunity.
I guess looking back on it all, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, loads. I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't have been so pushy with her trying to get help, because I think that stopped her wanting to get help. I think really she would have had to come to a decision on her own or with guidance rather than someone pushing her into that decision. I think anybody being told you need help, you almost want to shut down to that.
Was that around her anger and the way
Baby blues.
okay, postnatal.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, also, she nearly died on the birth of the second child. So it was very traumatic. And when I look back, I should have been more patient. I shouldn't have tried kicking myself out of the house, but she shouldn't have locked me in. So we both did wrong things. I can't just say it was just her at all. I definitely had my parts to play in it. Like I said, I was getting so angry. Like, if someone road raged me, I would just throw my fists at them. And I know that put her off me.
Yeah.
Because she's seen me leather people. But I thought I was protecting our family at the time. It was a weird... I look back now and I was literally... I could have just let this guy vent at my window or wound my window up and drove off. But I'm like, nah, I'm getting out and leathering him. It was almost like I wanted an opportunity to punch someone because I couldn't be punching anyone else, but I was in so much pain at the time. And I was looking at taking it out on anyone. So I definitely feel I had a part to blame.
No, it's good that I guess you can see that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I had a couple more questions.
I told you I speak quick, innit? But I've been public speaking for so many years now, and the council only give me like 3 minutes, and they'll have 20 minutes of stuff to say in 3 minutes, because I'm trying to represent 12 or 13, 14 people who didn't have the guts to go into that meeting. So yeah, I sort of try and do PowerPoint mic drops.
No, I think we certainly push for it pretty much a lot quicker than some of the other ones that we've done.
Yeah.
So your relationship with your kids now, it's
it's always been good.
Yeah.
But now what's happening is they see that both parents are on the same team. Whereas before they felt that disconnect when we weren't. They're much happier kids now. They definitely didn't like it when we were still arguing. Because I thought they weren't seeing it because we weren't together. They were still feeling that animosity. So yeah, once we got rid of that, the kids had a much better life.
Have they ever brought up things previously that have...
Now, Clark's not really old enough to remember any of it, but yeah, Jack was absolutely traumatised for it. Like I said, he thought school was related to me leaving. So it's been pretty much a constant battle with him with school for all his life, because in his head, if I dropped him off at school, there was a chance I was never coming back. And I've kept proving that I did, and I kept proving that I did, and he's a bit more settled now. But it took years of me proving it, got over and over. And he's one of them kids that needs constant reassurance with things. Whereas my second kid's nothing like that. I can see me and my ex-wife painted him with our anxiety. And it's heartbreaking to see, but at least we're there for him to help him through it. But I almost feel like, wow, every parent, if you're angsty with the other parent, you need to be saving up for that therapy from the kid from the moment they're born, because you're going to be ruining them. They feel that animosity.
Yeah. No, I mean, my son's, he's just turned 8, and there's things that he picked up, which I never actually thought he was noticing things, but
Yeah.
he's said to me things, which surprised me.
Yeah.
And it's sort of his own interpretation of it. So they definitely listen and pick up things and put their own spin on it.
And it's this thing, like, I tend to see I know this is with me and with a lot of my friends, they go to mums for advice because it's the mum that we trust the most. With my kids, it's me. They're always, when they have an argument with mum, they phone me. But when they have an argument with me, they never phone in the mum because they trust me much more, which is a bit heartbreaking. But at the same time, she is earning that trust again. She's doing great. I'd say for the past 2 years, she's not shouted at them kids. So she's doing a lot better. I've got to give her all the props she deserves for that.
It's definitely good that you're both on the same page now and doing what's right for the kids.
Yeah.
You're communicating.
And the kids appreciate it much more.
No, that is really good. I think we're probably pretty much there. The last question I'd probably ask you is, could you summarise this episode in 2 words? If you want, you can. It
might even be 2 or 3 words.
If it's, can you come up with something?
Yeah, I think. Don't surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice one. Well, cheers for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Telling your story.
Nice to see you. Not met you since been at school.